The Place Where the Crawfish Sing is a story about a girl who grew up with no one who loved her, but she still managed to find love and be strong enough to survive on her own. Let me tell you more about it. In the heart of North Carolina's marshes lived a little girl who was abandoned by everyone in her family and left to fend for herself. She had no choice but to learn to live off the land, finding food and shelter in the wild, and so she became known as the Marsh Girl. One day, she encountered two boys who were kind enough to teach her how to read. But when they began to bully her, she realized that she needed to find a way to defend herself. That's when she started fighting back against them and their mean words. As the years passed, the Marsh Girl grew up and turned into a beautiful young woman. But she never forgot the pain of being alone or the importance of standing up for yourself. Her story is truly amazing and will make you believe in the power of resilience and hope. So if you want to hear more stories like this one, please smash that like button and subscribe. This captivating tale follows Kaya Clark, an abandoned young girl who lives in the marshes of North Carolina's Outer Banks. The story takes us back to 1952, where we meet a single mother of two who one day leaves her children behind and never returns. The siblings, ages 5 and 2 at the time, are then raised by their absentee father, who has no interest in raising children. The only ones who show them any kindness are their loving grandmother and grandfather, but sadly they too pass away unexpectedly, leaving the children completely alone. The older sibling decides to run away from home, leaving the 5-year-old Kaya to fend for herself in the marshes. Although Kaya has no one to take care of her, she manages to survive thanks to her innate connection with nature. She learns how to fish, hunt crabs, and observe the animals around her. She also discovers an old abandoned cabin where she can seek refuge from the harsh weather conditions. Despite these challenges, Kaya remains resilient and resourceful, managing to sustain herself in the wild. Eventually, her brother Tate returns to look for her after he hears that she is all alone. He teaches her basic skills, like how to use a knife and how to read. At first, he doesn't really want to stay with her, but later changes his mind and helps her out until he meets a social worker who convinces him to leave Kaya alone and get adopted by a new family. A few years later, a new family comes along and adopts her, but unfortunately, they just see her as a project to get money and fame from and don't actually care about her as a person. They mistreat her terribly and call her the Marsh Girl. This makes her run away again and go back to living in the marshes. Tate feels sorry for her and sneaks into her house to give her money and other things she might need, like shoes. Meanwhile, Kaya grows up and becomes a beautiful woman. One day, she meets two boys named Jumpin and Gator, who start bullying her. However, she fights back against them and scares them away. Then she meets Chase Andrews, a popular high school boy who treats her kindly and shows her new experiences like going to parties and dances. Later, Chase tells her that he loves her and wants to marry her. However, after getting her pregnant, he starts acting strangely towards her. When she finds out that he has been cheating on her with another girl, she miscarries and Chase leaves her forever. Now, alone once again, she goes back to her cabin in the marshes. One day, she sees two men looking for something in the marshes, and she hides behind some bushes. She overhears them talking about a murder they committed and how they threw the body into the marsh. A few days later, she sees them return to the same spot and hide some items. She gets curious and investigates, eventually discovering the dead body of Chase Andrews. She knows she should report what she saw, but she is afraid of what the people in town would do to her. So she keeps quiet. Soon the police arrive and begin searching for Chase's body. Some time passes and suddenly everyone in town starts pointing fingers at Kaya, believing that she is responsible for Chase's disappearance. Even though she didn't do anything wrong, she decides to flee instead of trying to explain herself. While hiding out in a shed, she is found by Tate, who has now grown into a handsome young man. He helps her escape from the town, and they spend some time together, reconnecting as siblings. However, the sheriff soon arrives and arrests Tate because he thinks that he killed Chase. When Tate is taken away, Kaya finally decides to tell the truth about what she saw in the marshes. Unfortunately, no one believes her, and they all think that she's lying. Years go by, and Tate is sent to jail for a crime he didn't commit. In the meantime, Kaya continues to live in the marshes and publishes her own book about her life there. One day, a young female reporter named Miranda from the city reads her book and becomes fascinated by her story. She decides to visit Kaya and spend some time with her, listening to her amazing stories. Meanwhile, another character named Jumpin from the story starts having second thoughts about accusing Kaya for what happened to Chase. He begins to question whether or not he did the right thing by helping the police arrest Tate. Jumpin decides to visit Tate in prison and apologizes for what he did. He tells Tate that he has decided to confess the truth about what happened to Chase. Soon after, the news breaks that Jumpin confessed to killing Chase and Tate is set free. Finally, everyone realizes that Kaya is innocent and they apologize to her for what they did. From then on, Kaya's life gets much better. She is no longer afraid of what others might think of her and is even invited to a party by her friend, Miranda. Where Crawdads Sing is a story about a girl who never gives up hope. Despite facing many challenges in life, she always finds a way to keep going. It's also a story about family, both the good and bad. Kaya is lucky to have had a loving grandmother and grandfather who took care of her when her mother left. But she's also lucky to have had a brother who, despite his faults, always came back for her. Ultimately, it's a story about survival and the power of nature. Kaya is able to survive alone in the marshes thanks to her connection with the natural world. She learns how to fish and hunt, and she uses her knowledge of plants and animals to stay alive. Where Crawdads Sing is a must-read for anyone who loves a good story about survival and resilience. It's a powerful and moving story that will stay with you long after you finish reading it. Now let's check your understanding. Answer the following questions. What is the name of the main character? What state does the story take place in? What year does the story begin? How did Kaya learn to survive in the wild? Who was Kaya's best friend? Why did Chase leave Kaya? How does Kaya prove her innocence? What happens to Tate at the end of the story? What is the main theme of the novel? What type of story is this? That's the end of our video today. I hope you enjoyed this unique and well-written story. If you liked it, please click the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on any of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.